Welcome to the medical imaging Game of Thrones. While everyone is obsessed with AI chatbots, the real biological high-speed rail is being built in your veins. We're deep diving into the 2025 contrast media market, a $16 billion industry that's essentially the high-definition toggle for human health. At HDIN Research, we don't just look at vials, we look at the R&D war chests that decide who lives and who goes generic. Think of this as the Oppenheimer of radiology. Lots of heavy elements, high stakes, and absolutely no room for error. $15.8 billion. That's not just a number. That's enough cash to buy a Tesla for every single person in Manhattan and still have change for lunch. The market is exploding because, let's face it, the world is getting older and more complicated. GE Healthcare is currently the landlord of diagnostics, sitting on 19% of the premium space. But keep your eyes on China's Hengrui. They're no longer just the local alternative. They're becoming the specialized snipers of the industry. The situation? We're moving from selling ink to selling insights. But here's the complication. The industry just hit a regulatory brick wall at 100 miles per hour. Bayer is bleeding $8.4 billion in litigation. That's a black hole, big enough to swallow most mid-cap pharma companies whole. Meanwhile, Guerbet's Raleigh plant got a love letter from the FDA, a warning letter, which is basically the regulatory equivalent of being grounded indefinitely. If you're a shareholder, these aren't just operational risks. They are the sound of margins being fed into a paper shredder. So here is the multi-billion-dollar question. How do you stop your business from becoming a commodity? When the China VBP, volume-based procurement, starts squeezing your margins like a lemon, do you stay a chemical company or do you become a tech firm? The pivot to digital is no longer a choice. It's an escape pod. If you're still just selling vials, you're basically selling bottled water in a world that's moving toward precision-engineered electrolytes. Let's look at the scoreboard. GEHC is the apex predator. Their 30% margins are the ultimate R&D war chest. Hengrui is the chess grandmaster, using out-licensing deals to build a moat that's practically recession-proof. And then we have the high-risk tier, Guerbet and Dongcook. With a debt-to-EBITDA ratio of 4.0x, Guerbet is walking on a financial tightrope in a hurricane. In this market, you're either building the table or you're on the menu. Size matters. GEHC is the heavyweight champion with $2.9 billion in the PDX segment alone. Bayer and Bracco are the solid midfielders, but look at the growth rates. While the giants are growing at 3% to 14%, the real story is in the efficiency gap. GEHC isn't just selling more, they're selling smarter by bundling equipment and media. It's the Apple ecosystem strategy, but for your internal organs. Efficiency is where the fat meets the muscle. Bayer pulls in over $580,000 per employee. That's elite-tier productivity, reflecting a premium brand that hospitals are willing to pay extra for. GEHC is lower at $381,000 because they carry the heavy lifting of service and equipment. But look at the bottom. If you're pulling $213,000 like some regional players, you're not a pharma giant. You're a high-overhead logistics company. Automation isn't a luxury here. It's survival. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially if that basket is a single country with a volatile healthcare policy. Dongcook is 91% dependent on South Korea. That's not a business strategy. It's a hostage situation. GEHC, on the other hand, is globally diversified. If one region's policy goes south, they just lean on the other two. They've built a global shield while others are still playing home turf defense. Now, let's talk about the skeleton in the closet, days sales outstanding. Dongcook's 254-day DSO is a massive red flag. That means it takes them nearly 9 months to get paid after a sale. In consulting terms, that smells like channel stuffing, pushing product to wholesalers just to make the quarterly numbers look pretty. Hengrui, at 58 days, is running a cash machine. Remember, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is reality. While Bayer is checking their couch cushions for litigation cash, Hengrui is sitting on a $5.7 billion cash fortress. Their operating cash flow is 1.4x their net profit. Why does this matter? Because when the market crashes or a new technology emerges, Hengrui can simply buy their way into the future. They aren't just surviving the generic squeeze, they're funding an entire new empire of innovative drugs. CT is the bread and butter, high volume but maturing margins. MRI is the technical moat. The real battle is in gadolinium safety, but the future alpha isn't in either. It's in molecular tracers. GEHC's radiopharmaceuticals are the smart bombs of diagnostics. They don't just show you the anatomy, They show you the disease's biological signature. We're moving from taking pictures to reading code. The era of selling vials is dead. We are now in the era of selling decisions. Bayer's precision dosing systems are like smart thermostats for your veins. They calculate the exact dose so you don't waste a drop. GEHC is using AI to quantify brain atrophy automatically. If your contrast media doesn't come with a software layer, you're just selling a commodity, and commodities always go to zero in the long run. Green is the new gold. Regulatory bodies are tightening the screws on toxicity. Bayer's Gadaquatrain is leading the low-dose race with a 60% reduction in dose. In a world where iodine recycling is becoming a strategic moat, being environmentally friendly isn't just for the PR department, it's a prerequisite for staying on the hospital's approved vendor list. In China, imported is no longer a flex, it's a liability. To survive the VBP volume-based procurement trap, you have to be in China for China. GEHC is localizing production in Shanghai just to stay in the game. Meanwhile, Guerbet is targeting high-end private healthcare in Taiwan, China to escape the generic pricing wars. It's a two-speed market. Go local or go premium, but don't get stuck in the middle. Behold the $15.8 billion pie. 3 companies control nearly half the market. This isn't just a fragmented industry, it's a tiered oligarchy. If you're in the 56% others category, you're either a specialized niche player or you're waiting to be acquired by GEHC or Bayer. The gravity of the big players is becoming too strong to ignore. Where are we going? By 2030, the word contrast will be replaced by Theranostics. This is the holy grail. You use a tracer to see the cancer, and then you swap the isotope to kill it using the same ligand. It's search and destroy for the human body. The companies winning today are the ones building the infrastructure for this precision warfare against disease. The final takeaway? Profit isn't in the chemical formula anymore. It's in the workflow. If you make the radiologist's life easier and the patient's diagnosis more certain, you win. If you're just a vial on a shelf, you're a line item waiting to be cut. In the world of high-stakes diagnostics, precision is the only currency that doesn't devalue. That's the 2025 Deep Dive. If you want the full 100-page underlying dataset or need a bespoke M&A strategy for the imaging space, drop us a line at sales@HDINresearch.com. Don't forget to comment below, is GEHC's lead untouchable? Or is the cash fortress of Hengrui the real threat? Follow us at HDIN230 for more logic-heavy, fluff-free industry analysis. See you in the next Deep Dive.